What is up, everyone? My name is XanderPlayer, and today I'm going to be talking about Garuda. More specifically, I'm going to be talking about what people I've noticed have been getting wrong about Garuda, because I've seen a lot of people playing Garuda, and I've seen a lot of people playing Garuda incorrectly. So, first and foremost, I want to talk about Brozyme's new video today that he posted. Sick content creator, you guys should totally check him out. But in his evaluation of Garuda today, I feel like he missed the mark a little bit just because I had some pretty different observations getting into this new frame. And so I just wanted to share a few thoughts about what I think Garuda can do and how I think she's actually a pretty decent Warframe. And so in an effort to spark some conversation, I'm just going to share a few clips of my reactions to some of his points in the video. So I'm just going to put that here.
More so than anything else that's counterintuitive about Dreadmere, the "this kills significantly weakened enemies instantly" part is majorly confusing.
This is true, it is confusing, but it is confusing for a different reason. It's confusing because the stat would lead you to believe that the ability is mainly used for damaging enemies, when I've found that the most notable reason to use Dreadmere is not because of the shield or the damaging effect on enemies, but it's actually because of how much damage it absorbs from the enemies. This is her nuke ability. Essentially, you draw damage from enemies to disperse it later, and there is no cap on that. You can continuously gain damage, and as I'll explain in a little bit, the more damage you're able to congregate into the blood sphere, the more efficiently you can pump energy into this nuke if you're in a tight spot later on down the line.
Also, Blood Altar, please for the love of God, why is this 6 meters?
Interestingly enough, it seems that Blood Altar is not actually designed to heal you a lot over time, and that's because the health that you get from it is scaled by a percentage, but it's not by a percentage of your health, it's by a percentage of the health that you don't have. So essentially, the longer you stand in the Blood Altar, the less health you'll be receiving per tick, and that's because Garuda does reward you for being at low health. Garuda's passive ability gives you a buff called Death's Gate, which gives you up to 100% additional damage for all of her abilities and weapons the closer she is to death. So the idea is to actually never really heal above 50% of your health, so as to maintain this 50% or higher bonus damage from your weapons.
Absolute minimum, I think this has to be 10. Absolute.
That would be way OP because that is just a really good lockdown ability for keeping your teammates healed. I don't think we need to make her the best healer in the game. I don't think we need to do that. That's just my take. I think Trinity is still pretty good. I don't think we need a dude who's gonna shred up everyone to also be the best healer in the game. That would be weird. But
minimum.
So those were just some thoughts I had while watching his video, and so now I'm going to switch it over to some gameplay that I was able to capture. And first up, I'm going to show and try to explain a little bit about how Dreadmere charges exponentially when you hold it, depending on how much damage goes into it. So let's take into consideration these 140 corrupted bombards. If I were to use Dreadmere on them once, I get a charge of 23,000 damage in my Dreadmere. What we're going to do is we're going to charge it, and we're going to see just how much damage I can get out of here. My guess is probably somewhere around 160, 170k. Alright, so we got 195k. Pretty decent damage, but another thing that Dreadmere does that's not quite explained is that it also stacks in its charge based on how much damage it already has. So if I were to go to this corrupted bombard, tear the shit out of him, and just fill my orb with as much damage as I can, you'll see that I got to 320,000. So I'm just going to go up here and get some more energy real quick. I'm not going to take it for myself because I'm going to explain a little bit more about that later. But now I'm going to charge it up, and you'll see that it will grow exponentially faster just because of how much more damage is already in there. Now we're at 1 million. Now we're at 1.5 million. 2 million. And we got to 2.79 million before running out of energy. Now obviously that will increase the more you use your 1 on enemies before charging it. So that encouraged me to do a little more testing, and I found that there's actually no cap on the amount of damage that you can build up with the Dread Mirror. So let me just share with you a clip of the most amount of damage I was able to pump out of Dread Mirror in one shot, and this was from spamming my 1 on a level 140 Nox Eximus. Alright guys, as you can see, I took the time to get my orb to 10 million damage, and I'm going to see just how much I can charge it. I have a feeling it'll go to over 1 billion, but, you know, who knows? Let us find out. So I was able to get to about 650 million before that side's energy orbs started to glitch out. Yeah, I'm just gonna see how far I can go before none of this shit works anymore. Alright guys, we did it. We got her orb to start going up in scientific notation. We are at 1 billion, and it appears to still be going up. I think it's safe to assume that there's not really a cap on this ability, at least not one that will ever become practical. As you can see, we are at 1.14 billion damage, and you know, that's pretty fucked. I don't think anything can survive that, but you know, it's still climbing. We've got 1.24 E to the 3 millionth. Yeah. I'm at the point where I have to press X every time I want to get an energy orb. And, oh, here we are. We're at the point where they don't work anymore. Alright, so after doing all of that, I was able to get this orb to deal 1.33 billion damage. And just to see if we can get that number to show on screen, it's not going to be that because this Leech Eximus that knocks over there and that Corrupted Bombard, they have a lot of armor, so it's not going to be true, but hey, we should still see a disgustingly high number, and assuming one appears on the screen, I will freeze frame it for you. And there we have it. That was a grossly high number. That was enough to insta-kill just about everything in the game. It takes a long time to charge that up, and yeah, that's a lot of damage. So now backtracking from all that meme stuff I just showed. So this next clip I'm about to share with you guys is going to be more about using her practically on the battlefield and how I would go about doing it. And it's going to basically show the potency of using her 4 and her melee in tandem with each other with this current meta that we have with melee. And so first I'm going to start off by showing you guys a little bit of gameplay as to how I would use her in like the heat of a battle. I'm just going to spawn in a couple of corrupted heavy gunners at level 100 and 1 butcher. You'll see why in a minute. I'll explain as I go. Mainly what you want to focus on with playing Garuda is maintaining this health bar at 50% or less and keeping your damage up and keeping yourself safe. So I'm just going to spawn in these guys here and I'm going to go kill them. Alright, so first thing you're going to want to do while jumping in there is you're going to cast your 1 to get your shield so that you don't die when you're getting shot at. Then you cast your 4 while having your health at least at 50% or lower. And so then when you just go in there with your Zaw and do some spins, all the enemies just die. And then finally, that butcher's here. This is just to show how fast that you can recover, and I'm already done. And as you can see, now we're back to essentially what we started with, about half health, and yeah, we're golden. All of those enemies are dead. So on this build that I'm using, you can see that a lot of my mods are just not completely leveled up yet, and the reason for that is because that this mod setup is more about me figuring out what works for her rather than what is optimal, because I don't know what's optimal. You know, obviously she just came out and we still need to do some research, so this is just my temporary build from now. As you can see, I use Arcane Guardian to give just a bit of extra tankiness. Adaptation is also super useful for surviving in high levels when enemies are just pumping out so much damage per bullet anyway. And so I just find it a bit more beneficial to me as a player when these enemies just can't insta-kill me, even though I use my abilities to get down to low health. And obviously I have Arcane Grace up there as well. Most people don't have that. It's a very rare thing, but you don't need it. And it's nice for filling me up when I'm not really paying attention too much to my health. And so now we're going to talk about this melee weapon. Now this is the Zaw that Brozyme uses. I've got a pretty basic build on it. It's a very good weapon. I don't have a Exodia, and I've just got 2 Forma in that. It's great for spin attacking, and it doesn't feel nearly as annoying to use as the Atarax or anything. So this is just my go-to melee most of the time. It's got incredible range, and it gets the job done. So now I'm just going to briefly explain why it is that I was able to kill those guys so fast. And I'm going to do that by creating these heavy gunners again, except this time I'm going to put them at level 140. And I'm just going to go in there with only my melee and see how long it takes me to kill these guys. So again, we have no damage buffs on, and we're just going to see how many slices it takes to get through these guys with regular spin attacks. As you can see, I proc off finishers quite frequently, but that's only because these enemies are paused, so they're very easy to sneak up on. But yeah, I don't think if they were alive, I would be alive, because the amount of damage that they put out is just way more than enough to kill me in this duration. As you can see, I still haven't killed the one. There we go. And so this time, we're just going to run through the test again. I'm going to spawn the same group of enemies, except this time we're going to use all of our abilities that help us deal damage to them and kill them very, very fast. So what we're going to do is we're going to cast our 3 twice, get down to no HP, and then we're going to use our 4 on them. It's going to stagger them all, put horrible slash procs on them, and then we're just going to start spin attacking, and I guess we're done. Yeah, those enemies just get vaporized. They just can't handle the slash procs. And yeah, that's why I'd argue Garuda's 4 is a little better than people seem to give it credit for. It doesn't do very much damage, but what it does do well is it makes your slash that much better by essentially forcing slash procs upon these enemies. They just can't handle it, and even at high levels, it just proves that melee is king in this game. And so guys, that's gonna do it for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and feel free to like, subscribe if you want to see more. I might make more in the future. I just kind of really wanted to make this video to clarify some things on Garuda. Thanks again to Brozyme for uploading great content. Go check him out, link in the description. And yeah, so I'll catch you guys around. Peace.